We are live. Welcome, one and all, to today's watch party. We are watching Predator from 1987, a true sci fi horror monster classic. Plenty of quotable moments, plenty of love to go around for this one. Today is joining me is Get to the Chopper Pazuzu. Welcome, James.
Evening.
Um, and thank you, Mad Matt, for our lovely background today. This is exactly what I was hoping for. We have a combination of Tom Jones and the Predator out to save the world.
Predator sequel with Tom Jones as the leading man.
Well, it's not too late. It's never too late, but let's pray
It
that they
wouldn't
would
be
get it.
unusual.
Yeah. All right. So let's get right into it. This movie's about an hour and 46 minutes, give or take. Well under a 2 hour time frame. So we've got lots of time to have fun with this one. All right, James, do you want to do a countdown? If everybody's ready, we'll get the countdown and begin.
So do we go on one or after one? I always forget this.
After one. Count down one and then start.
In that case, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
All right. So we should, whatever your copy is that you have, we are right when the stars start showing on the screen and the music starts. Um, we can just get through all of those logos, whatever they may be. And we have a minute or two before we really start getting into the movie, but we have a really good setup where we see the ship and we're going to kind of see the origin of it, which leaves no doubt where the predator monster came from. But as far as how long it was on Earth, that I guess that remains to be seen because of all the sequels, I guess, have kind of answered that. I am at a disadvantage from you all because I have not seen anything past this one and Predator 2. And the franchise just went stale for me, so I'm done. But we probably have a lot to talk about with the sequels because they do add to the lore, they add to the story to give a, I guess,
You,
what
I
more
think,
rounded story.
I think some people might say add. I think they subtract. Sometimes more, in this case, more information is less mystery, less interesting.
Exactly. So I think as they work through the franchise, they try to give you something new, which would, they cross their fingers and say, oh, well, everybody wants to know the origin, so let's give them an origin. Um, we just kind of jump right into this story for, actually, you know what, before we do, because we are coming up on the best handshake in cinema history. So let me do a shout out first. We have Hell If I Know, Alex Peacock over in YouTube. We got Calbot. Let's see. Mad Matt is with us. Johnny Devitt, Sith's sister. Who am I missing? I didn't miss anybody, did I? And Miss Swift. Hello, Miss Swift. Over on Discord, we have Frag Lord. We have Mr. Furzel. Mad Matt's over there. Alex is over there. I'll be over there on occasion. Calbot's over there. Well, welcome on Discord. We plan on having a very lively discussion. There is so much to talk about with this movie, and we can just dive right in. When was the first time you saw this, James? Was it in the theater?
Oh dear me, I'd have been far too young, a mere 10-year-old. They wouldn't have let me in the cinema for this then. No, this would either have been an edited screening, probably on ITV with advert breaks, or maybe a VHS.
Okay. So yeah, this did come out in '87. Um, and it was right for the rental market, the DVD rental market. Blockbusters um, made its rounds on cable. It was everywhere. Whoa, Andrew! Andrew is in the chat. Welcome, Andrew. So happy that you joined us today. Um, and awesome. I hope let's. There is a rich history with this movie as far as the went into it since it came out. Um, so has anybody else seen this in the theater? Makes me smile. That is a muscle fest if I have ever seen one. Um,
Those are two men who should just go and get a room.
yes. What did you call it last week, James?
I called it the most homoerotic movie ever made.
There you go. We have a bunch of men running through the
Dutch
jungle.
and Dylan are quite clearly madly in love with each other, but are just keeping it bubbling below the surface for the sake of unit morale.
Exactly. So we know that their history, they go back to Vietnam. They were in Vietnam together. One went to the CIA doing desk work, and one is still a, oh, I don't know, free range mercenary. He calls himself, like, he's into rescue missions. So that is what he does with his crew, and he has been called in from the CIA for some top secret mission. Um, and okay, so Miss Swift says, I don't recall if I saw this first on cable, rental, or theater. Yeah, because it was all over the place. I was in college when it came out, so I've probably seen it in the theater 5 times. And then as it came on cable, as it came on the rental. So this is a staple, and I revisit it every once in a while. But to my surprise, I still do not have a DVD copy of this. So here I am renting it. Helifino says, yes, it's directed by McTiernan, too,
It's
who also did Die Hard, so the action pedigree was solid.
Well, but
Yes,
this is actually McTiernan's second film and his first studio picture. His first film was 2 years before this, a horror film called Nomads, with Pierce Brosnan putting on a ridiculous French accent and Adam Ant as something demonic. Didn't do well at the box office, but it was good enough to get him noticed. So after pretty much everyone they'd asked to direct this, from James Cameron to Richard Donner, had
yep,
said thanks but no thanks, they turned to him.
exactly. And he had a track record. He had already done Die Hard, so they
No,
kind
no,
of,
Die Hard is his next film.
after
He does,
this,
he does Die Hard after
when did
this,
Die Hard come out?
then The Hump a year
Hmm.
later, 89.
Okay, that's right. Die Hard came after in his
and then
right.
and then it's the Hump for Red October. So pretty strong run of films there.
Yep. So fun fact: Shane Black, who is plays Hawkins, is also the writer of this.
No, no,
Yes, I believe he was, and they actually had him writing as he was in the chopper, or was he writing another movie?
no. The movie he was writing while they were making this was The Last Boy Scout. He was
Okay, that's right.
basically he wasn't the writer of this. Joel Silver got him involved because obviously Joel Silver knew him from Lethal Weapon, and he wanted him there on set just in case they needed any rewrites done during shooting.
Okay.
but he's
That's right. I knew
primary.
he was writing something.
He's primarily there as an actor. But yeah, he was writing The Last Boy Scout, which is yet another one of those most expensive scripts ever sold in Hollywood that then didn't turn into the box office hit they thought it would.
That bombed.
It's a good movie, though.
So, um, yes, hell if I know. And they're listening to a Little Richard tune. Um, what is it called? Long Dark Sally. Is that what it's called? Oh, Sis Sister. Remember seeing this at a drive-in back in '87. Went with my brother and his girlfriend at the time. I was 7, so I had the cute factor going. I Long Tall Sally. Thank you very much, guys. Hell if I know, and Alex Peacock. I was almost there.
I said,
Um,
oh, hell if I know. I don't. John McTiernan's career didn't end because of jail time for tax stuff. It ended up for jail time for illegal wiretapping and perverting the course of justice
oh,
when he hired people to hack the telephones of the producers of Rollerball because he was disagreeing with the producers about how the film should be edited.
okay, that ain't good.
So
Andrew
he end, he
Dalton.
ended so he ended up doing one more film after Rollerball Basic before going to spend several years in Club Fed.
Oh, Andrew was mentioning in 2013, John McTiernan acquired a taste for prison food. So there you go. It's not often that Hollywood types actually end in jail like that. Um,
Yeah, I think basically hiring PIs to spy on your bosses is a little unusual, especially as the film that they were scrapping over was by
ah,
no means a good one.
Very interesting. Mr. Furzel over there on Discord says probably saw it on TV first because it was all over the place. Then I added it to my DVD collection later as one of my first editions. And it's got DVD, you've got Blu-ray, you've got 4K versions of it. This eventually this will be one of the ones that I get in my collection. Um, so okay, so our I don't know if they're really called mercenaries, but they are a military rescue operation, and I think they kind of go under the cloak of darkness a lot of times. One of those special forces groups that are sent into the never regions to rescue people. So all we know is that they're going here to rescue a senator who went down in a choppa, and there's hostages that were taken. So we are off
And,
to
and, and
bang up the start.
nasty Soviet-backed Contra types.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so we have okay. So what else is going on? Because this movie, like I said, is an hour and 46 minutes. Not a lot of this time on screen is wasted. So it's like every time I'm looking over, there's a really interesting scene because all of these scenes, there's just no wasted time. Oh, thank you, Andrew. They prefer to go by private security contractors. Yes. Hell if I know. And so many folks don't go to jail for great reasons. So this is America. Yeah. Um, okay, so we're gonna get okay. Before we start really getting into the
I'm feeling the need to correct someone again because old Johnny Devitt saying we've got future senators looking for current senators. Actually, two future governors and
exactly,
and two, one of which is a governor who tried to be
he tried to
elected
be
to the Senate. So did
right.
Sonny Landham. So that's two of them went for the Senate. One as an independent, the other as a libertarian. Uh,
Mhm.
Jesse Ventura elected as what's it, Minnesota governor
Right. He was
as
the
an
governor.
independent after he fell out with reform, and
Right.
obviously Arnie is about the last Republican to have held statewide office in California.
Exactly. And I think after he saw Jesse's and Arnold's success in that, Sonny tried to also kind of go down that route, but wasn't successful for many. I think a lot of the reasons why things in his personal life. During the filming of this movie, the insurance company actually required him to have a bodyguard. Not
Yes,
it, it,
Sonny wasn't acting when he was in 48 Hours. He was the bad guy in 48 Hours.
gotcha. Gotcha. Hell if I know. Anyone else having buffering issues with YouTube? No, no. So far, so good. I believe it was Sonny who helped kind of shape his character's Native American what roots, um, because he's half Sioux. He's half Sioux Indian, and a lot of the mannerisms of his character are um, are based on his heritage. Andrew, I doubt it. I'm getting them as it's my fault for appearing. I've bought the streaming demon with me. Oh no, it's not you, Andrew. Um, I've had plenty of issues over the last however many months we've been doing this.
Why Pazuzu is your co-pilot.
Exactly. Mad Matt, your connection is lagging too. Okay, sis sister, a little bit. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I think this moment is when you, because when you're first seeing this film, you're probably expecting an Arnold Schwarzenegger action romp in the probably like Commando, which he'd done a year or two beforehand, and then suddenly you have this very explicit horror moment with the skinned
Mhm.
bodies, and well, you're probably not going to be get Arnie Wise cracking and saying, "You know, when I said I'd kill you last, I
Right.
lied."
Yep. Okay. There are plenty of exciting references here to Stranger Things. And my love of Stranger Things, I had no idea there was a connection at all. The dog tags, Jim Hopper, the name of the sheriff in Stranger Things is named Jim Hopper. And Stranger Things is set in Hawkins, Indiana. Well, there's a character here named Hawkins, and it is a direct reference. The Duffer Brothers, who created Stranger Things, are big fans of this movie, so they worked some of those plot points into the series. And if we were to go back and see how Predator has influenced the entertainment industry and media, we could come up with all of these hundreds of appearances and references. It's it's too numerous to even name. You can't even name them on one hand. You're gonna,
Well,
everybody references
back
this.
in 1988, I thought it was quite notable that a Doctor Who story, Remembrance of the Daleks, quite obviously ripped off the Predator vision that we haven't seen yet for its Dalek point of view shots. So that's kind of pretty much an immediate response to
Yeah,
copy it.
exactly. This was a absolute monster at the box office.
But I refuse to believe a Gatling gun is a handheld weapon.
Really?
I do not believe you can use a Gatling gun as a handheld weapon.
Well, if you're these guys, you could. I think that was one of the guns made especially for this movie, and these guys could handle it. Okay, let's see. The budget for this movie, roughly about 15 to 18 million. Box office dominated at 98 million. Um, Oh, okay. Andrew says there is an Australian murderer, a woman called Catherine Knight, and with her skills from working in an arbitor,
Abattoir.
abattoir, she hung and skinned her partner predator style. Oh,
Nice.
and okay, Alex said this was voted the most
Run,
violent. Doesn't not
running
appear
running
very.
Manchero as Captain Freedom, believe at the suggestion of Arnold Schwarzenegger, who
Yes.
seen him wrestling and liked the look of him and his stage personality and thought he'd make a good character.
And I think his first, yeah, Jesse's first, what audition, um, just by the looks of him, I think they knew that they'd cast him. Oh yes, Johnny Devick. They spent most of the budget on stomach medicine for the actors. Yeah,
Hmm.
because they all got sick while filming in the jungle. I recall even back in the day, 1986, when they were filming this movie, Schwarzenegger was all over the news because he took time off during the filming of this to get married.
Oh, believe that the issue was he actually missed things like the rehearsal for his wedding and was late for
He
various
did.
things because he was busy filming, which didn't go down too well with Mrs. Shriver.
Right. He only was what? He only took off 4 days of filming. Got married. I think they had kind of a short honeymoon, whatever it was, and then
And
he
even,
was back
and
at
even then, he was late for it.
it.
He did not get to the chopper, at least
He
not
did
in.
not get to the chopper on time. Mm. Um, okay, yep. So now we're seeing the predator effects, which were based on supposedly very scientifically accurate as to what a snake or how a snake would see.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm never entirely convinced by that sort of thing because
well,
how can we
that's what we know.
how can we possibly know what something else that doesn't have human eyes sees like?
Um, for the same way that they can pretty much tell how a dog or a cat sees
Yeah,
by
I also don't believe that.
examining the eyeballs and the way that they see, and they can make a pretty good guesstimate. So whether that's true or not, who knows? But it makes for a very good effect in this movie. So, okay, I think at the beginning of the movie for the credits, we know that Stan Winston is attached to this movie and does a lot of the effects.
He was
And,
only attached to the movie partway through production because
right,
the
at
the
the
the, the original Predator was basically John Claude Van Damme in an insect suit, and
and it looked like a lobster. Yeah,
accounts vary as to why he left. You've kind of got them saying he was too small, so he didn't work alongside all these great big burly men. And then you've got he's dropped off because he didn't like his first role being a non-speaking part with a lobster mask. But basically, at that point, they had a bit of a problem, and Arnie got on the phone and got his friend Stan Winston to come in.
yep. And then it changed from there are still some scenes that they've used uh, when Jean Claude was the creature. They've
But,
used
but
some of
but
that footage,
basically,
but
they're the ones where you see the creature in blurro
invisible.
vision,
Yeah,
which is
exactly,
which is which is done using the old-fashioned green screen chroma key technique. Except in
exactly.
this case, whoever's playing the creature is wearing bright red because that's a color you don't get in the green jungle. And then they take two shots, one without any of the actors and one with him moving around in red, key out the red, superimpose the shots one on the other, and you get a blurry thing moving around.
Yep. It makes for a very good effect, but for the actual guy in a costume, yes, they ended up replacing Jean Claude with a guy who was what, 7 foot 5 inches
Yeah,
and was more menacing.
Cavell, he's ridiculously tall.
Yeah. And it made for a better effect with a towering predator over even these guys. Oh, yes. Yes, Alex. Thank you. Jesse Ventura was a Navy diver. Bomb disposal stuff, I thought. Yeah, wasn't he was he a Green Beret? He was a special ops in the military. Yeah, there's a lot of references here to how we know that how do we know how snakes see? Matt says by hooking up the eyeballs to a projector, like they did with the Martians in War of the Worlds. Okay, ask Snake a question and it will probably say yes. Or Andrew's response, the original Predator. Oh, okay, hold on. Andrew said snakes lie. Yeah, snakes lie, so we can't get a reliable answer from them. So how do we know? We don't.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura was an underwater demolition frogman,
Navy
which
SEAL Calbot.
which it was a precursor to
Yep.
the Navy SEALs. So before the SEALs existed.
Yep. And Matt mentioned, was it Matt? Was, mentioned about he thought that
I hope
Jesse was just a body. Yeah, he was known as Jesse the Body Ventura in his wrestling days.
if there are any hostages, I hope they're sheltered somewhere safely from this pretty indiscriminate machine gun fire.
They they don't even know where the hostages are, but they're in a firefight now with these rebel fighters. So they just have to take them out. And that gun that Jesse is holding is super impressive. That's the same gun that was used in Terminator 2. And it
Yes,
was specially
it's
made
a,
for the
it's a
movie.
gun that's normally mounted to a helicopter.
Exactly. That is so impressive. Oh, Alex is saying the bad guys even shot the hostages before the firefight, which could be.
Well, you saw them kill a person. We don't know whether there's a senator who you've just machine gunned in one of the sheds.
Yeah. I don't think they did enough reconnaissance in this to figure out, first of all, where the hostages are before you start opening fire. But hey, what do I know?
Well, even in like the Rambo films, or the Chuck Norris missing in action stuff, they kind of have a look to find out where the prisoners are before
Yeah,
starting massive gun battles.
exactly. Mr. Furzel over on Discord mentions this scene is important because it shows their teamwork and their effectiveness as hunters, all without much dialogue, worthy prey for the predator. Yeah, exactly. And here's the famous line: "I ain't got time to bleed." Love it.
I also need to pick people up on calling this thing the Predator because I seem to remember we might have mentioned it back in the Predator 2 watch party. But one thing this isn't is a predator. It's not a predator hunting its prey. It's basically a big game hunter. It's the equivalent of Donald Trump Jr. going out with a high velocity rifle and shooting an elephant or a lion or something. It's not a predator. It's some alien Yahoo tourist shooting up the locals.
And he's a hunter. And I think instead of it's hard to switch from calling it the Predator because he's in the title of the movie and that's what we call it. But he really is a worthy hunter who doesn't hunt unarmed people, doesn't hunt women. He hunts worthy adversaries.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, but he also hunts in a way that's fundamentally unwood. Yeah, he is invisible.
well,
He has special tracking equipment, etc., etc. So
yes.
even if he's picked people who've got guns and can fight back, it's not strictly speaking any
Hmm.
more even than some deer versus someone with a rifle.
Well, there is something to be said for that. However,
He's now having a
if
lover's
we,
quarrel with Dylan.
yes, with the ending in mind, it so if he was just a killing machine who was out to kill the prey, he would have easily killed them already. They would all be dead. Um, so he's either toying with them, which is probably right. I think he's toying with them a little bit, or sizing up his adversaries. He's sizing them up.
Mm.
He's finding their weaknesses. He's learning how to track them, capture them. Game hunter in a lot of
Yep,
respects.
he is a slasher who's coming and
Mm-hmm.
Arnie and Duck one by one.
Yep.
Otherwise, he might not have made it to be final girl.
Yeah. Exactly. Andrew mentioned Kevin Peter Hall, who plays the Predator, was also Harry in the Oscar-winning Harry and the Hendersons. What if the Predator was really Bigfoot in a costume? Okay.
We all know that Bigfoot is bionic and was sent
What
by
what if the
aliens.
Predator really is just Bigfoot? Doesn't have to put a costume on. Could be. Could be. So this is our first what? Our first moment in this movie where the Predator is using his auditory capabilities to learn how to mimic the his prey, basically.
Yeah,
But no,
the predator likes putting together a mixtape to annoy people.
exactly to play back for his prey. Um, but there was this fascinating discussion I watched yesterday on how the predator, if you listen closely at the beginning of the movie, you could almost hear him mimicking them as well. But we weren't introduced to him at the beginning. But in the jungle, you might be able to hear him mimicking them as they're as we're being introduced to this crew. Um, I don't know if that's true or not, or if it's just someone's reaching for more exposition on the predator. Who knows? Yeah, sis sister, the bromance is definitely over. They aren't friends anymore because yeah, they're learning the truth. So okay,
I
before
have
we
just
go,
shared the truth about Bigfoot into the Discord.
there you go. Um, oh, there we go. Okay, so over in Discord, so Alex posted a GIF of Harry, and yours was okay. That was from the Bionic
The $6 million
$1
man,
man.
where
That's it.
he meets the android alien Bigfoot and engages it in Bionic Man to Android Bigfoot combat.
There you go. Um, yes, hell if I know. He has a recorder that allows him to play back sounds to confuse his enemies. That's exactly where I touch. Um, okay, so this guy here. Now, if anybody can answer this for me, I think in the movie his character's name is also the name of a character, a scientist in I think season 3 of Stranger Things. Either Alexei, Alexis. Um, I can't remember if I'm getting that right. And I didn't have any a chance to research that this morning, but I did hear that. Um,
Which character?
which character? Not Hawkins, the other guy. I think.
The
What is
one
it?
played by Richard Chase.
I believe so. His character is
Poncho.
Poncho. Um, his
No
what is his
relation to
character's?
Ponch.
Yeah, I was thinking Ponch, like as in
He's fresh
chips.
from the California Highway Patrol.
Patrol, right? Um, but his character's real name, I think, was what the foundation for the character's name in season 3 of Stranger Things. Now I don't have confirmation. If anybody can get confirmation, post it in the chat. I'd be very interested. Yeah, trying to get all of these Easter eggs, it's going to be hard. Okay, who posted over in? There we go. Mad Matt posted a picture of Misfits of Science. Kevin Peter Hall was the tall one in the middle. That was a short-lived series from the 80s. Um, did not know Kevin Peter Hall was in that one.
Yeah, I'm not seeing how we get from Poncho's name,
Okay.
Jorge Ramirez, to Alexi.
Okay. That could be something far fetched. Now we're about to. Okay, we're about to get to the Predator's first kill.
Yes, Miss Swift,
Uh,
he was Colonel Ironhorse in the awful War of the Worlds TV series.
aha, interesting.
A 1980s series that was a follow-up to the George Powell film and was just a bit icky and naff.
Interesting. Okay, so there probably is not a connection. So what's interesting is the first kill that we see is by a guy that is oh well, yeah, we're not there yet, but we're going to be. The circumstances for being the first kill um, was because of the position that he put himself in as regards to whether he's a worthy adversary or not. Yeah, Matt, she just tried to make like a tree and get out of there. That's funny. Yeah, Billy knows what's up. What is the kill count so far? Do we know not of just the predator, but of all the dead bodies and all the dead people so far? Has anybody been keeping track?
Are you including the skinned people who we didn't see killed, or the
Yep,
dead hostages?
yep.
But there is a kill count video for the film on YouTube, which I'm not going to watch now. I know the entire movie has 68 deaths in it.
I heard there were 69, but um, I don't know where they're. I don't know where all of the. Yep, she's gonna make like a tree and get out of there. Alex is saying my DVD doesn't have a kill count. First Blood does though. Yeah, yeah, Miss Swift. I'd have to go watch the kill count video by Dead Meat to tell you that. Yeah. So just off the top of my head, um, I did hear there were like six. I heard 69, but 68's good too. He's got to be sizing up the size of their skull. right? He's measuring how big of a adversary they are.
Right.
Yep. There we go. She's made her escape. And I think the predator is smart enough to realize she's handcuffed, she doesn't have any weapons, and he doesn't hunt females, right?
Not
I
sure
think we go,
about that at all. I think he is equal opportunities big game hunting douche, but she is more like a fawn than some sort of thing with antlers. So he will concentrate on the others instead.
yeah.
And certainly in all the other films, he has no problems. These people in killing women.
As
You know,
long as they're armed, right? I guess he has honor in that regard, or someone that he considers a threat. Okay, first kill. His first kill. Oh, Alex, okay, trying to keep up, but the buffering is a little nuts for me right now. Well, I hope I haven't given everybody bad luck with their streaming. I seem to be doing okay now. So I'm hoping it doesn't get any worse for you guys.
normally,
Um,
shortly after you say this, you disappear for a couple of
I,
minutes.
I'm not touching anything. So Matt says, does the kill count include that scorpion? I don't think so. I think it's just human victims.
It's like, yes, think of all the leaves and insects they've destroyed walking through the jungle.
And I heard that Hawkins, his character, had those big glasses just to be as nerdy as possible,
Yeah,
but Shane didn't like wearing them
he,
because it
he
was
wanted he wanted to wear proper military ballistic glasses, but McTiernan wouldn't let him.
let him.
And
Nope.
McTiernan also wanted him to wear a red beret, which he refused to do because he thought it would look stupid. But now
Yeah.
looking back, wishes he had worn it because it would have made his character stick out even more.
That it would not have been realistic. Um,
I think
even
I
for
think I think
military
people
folks,
do
it's not.
wear red berets in combat.
In a jungle, you're wearing camouflage. I can't imagine them allowing you to wear that red beret. I could be wrong. Yes, Miss Swift. I think it's only not going after her because she's unarmed and restrained. That could be it too. If she was armed, that might be a different story.
Well, there is the whole bit later on where Dutch makes the point of telling her not to take it.
Oh gosh. Okay. Don't tell me you were buffering. Your audio was a little garbled there, James.
I'm not buffering.
Okay. I better not touch anything.
I was saying there is a bit later on where so the implication is that basically because she is totally
Exactly. Keep her unarmed. So Alex is saying certain circumstances, but I don't think out in the jungle, what you have going for you is to be hidden, and you have to stay hidden. And a red beret to me would just you would stand out too much. But I know it, and sometimes it's part of the uniform. Oh, very subtle. You could see the blood dripping down that vine.
yeah, okay. I think at the moment we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 62, 63, 64. Depending on how many gorillas are killed, we're probably up to about 60 deaths at the moment.
Okay, that is quite a few, being only 46 minutes into the movie.
Because we've got Pilot Pete found dead in the chopper,
Right.
two Green Berets found skinned, Jim Hopper found skinned, hostage killed by Russian, three guerrilla lookouts, 50 odd guerrilla soldiers, a Russian advisor, another guerrilla, four dead guerrillas, a gorilla blown up by Poncho, and Hawkins. So that's lots of dead people.
Oh, here we go. And his death, interestingly, with the commentary that I have seen, so his famous line is, "I ain't got time to bleed." His death with that laser has cauterized his wounds, and he was not allowed to bleed out.
Although note that, like in all good slasher films, they're reacting to this by splitting up and going off on their own.
Exactly.
You know,
And now we
if they were somewhere a bit more urban, Bill Duke would be off to investigate the sound in the cellar,
have, instead of what they are doing is just shooting blindly into the forest.
which is a great way to run out of ammunition very quickly.
Exactly. And to basically panic shoot,
Well, because
which
on surely on fully automatic, pretty much all of everything apart from the minigun would be out of bullets in
in no time.
seconds.
I know. I know. But it just, this moment in the movie is is one of the only times you actually see them in a panic. Where and later in the movie you see the predator also doing that, not knowing what he's shooting at, but just shooting. Um, so Miss Swift is saying the stream lag is like a cursed item from Friday the 13th, the series. Sharon eliminated her lag by transferring it to others. Uh, I certainly hope not.
See Dylan
That,
there giving Dutch the side eye from.
well, it's no wonder you didn't see anything. You just blew the jungle half to bits. Yeah, exactly, Johnny Devick. Way to combat forestation. And Sith Sister, I think the jungle is dead now. Oh yeah, they killed it.
Well, they've hit just about everything apart from the target
Apart
they're
from
actually aiming
what
for.
they needed to hit. Yep. Okay, what do we got over there on Discord? There we go. Mr. Furzel says, why does Poncho say Anna says the jungle came alive and took him when all she said was, I don't know, I'm not sure? Is that what she really said?
Oh, you putting your pesky translation skills ahead of one of the characters.
Yeah,
How very dare
exactly.
you?
So she said something and was translated as the jungle came alive and took him. Maybe Poncho, in his translation skills, that's what he understood and or tried to understand what she was
See,
saying.
there's a reason why you
I
shouldn't
don't
have
know.
real foreign languages in films, that people should just be going Durka Durka, Durka Durka.
Or ack ack.
Ack, 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 ack,
Ack
ack,
ack
ack.
ack ack. Um, Hell if I know. Good point. I think Blaine was killed by the disc weapon, which we only saw clearly in the second movie. It was moving way too slow to be a laser blast. I that could be, but in order for it to cauterize, wouldn't it have had to have been a laser blast? But
Or
of
at
course,
least, or at least very hot.
yeah, exactly. That's a very interesting point. I guess it could have been the disc weapon. But when this movie came out, we didn't have the information the second movie gave us. So pulling all of the information together, it is possible.
Yes, back when this was just Predator and not Predator Episode 4, A New Predator.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Frizzle saying, I speak Spanish. So he did translate what she was saying. Yeah, so Mr. Frizzle, that's a very good question. Okay, guys, so Alex has swapped browsers, less buffering, but I can't chat on the YouTube. So Alex is over on Discord.
I'm guessing they probably thought most people watching the film don't speak Spanish and would just believe what the character said.
And anybody who does speak Spanish would be saying, that's not what she said. Yeah, who knows? So there's not much, there might be a little special effect surrounding that blood, but that blood is basically, I think, Gatorade and KY jelly. And I'm wondering if they did do a little bit of uh, a little CGI effect in post production to get it shiny like that. I don't know. Has anybody put Gatorade and KY jelly together to see what it looked like? Weird question to ask.
No, it's no CGI. This is basically, I think it's they just mix the contents of a glow stick with the KY jelly. So it is just a practical effect.
Could be. Could be. I had heard it was Gatorade with the KY jelly. Yeah, exactly. But it does look like from the glow stick. Alex also said, I also thought the blood color was the guts
Yeah.
of one of those glow sticks. Well, they need to get to the. Johnny Devick, it's clearly the ooze from Turtles. That's true. Miss Swift is saying neon green goo was the rage for a time. So yeah, who knows? I could also Google that and see what the internet's saying.
Yeah, go on, ask Poncho. He's already shown how good he is at Spanish.
Okay. Now they make. So we'll see. It was the contents of green glow sticks with KY jelly. The crew had to make fresh batches of this mixture on set as the glowing effect only lasted for a short time. So I guess it depends on who you ask on the internet what answer you get. Oh, Miss Swift saying now I want to watch Neon Maniacs again. right, let's see. Neon Maniacs. Maniacs. Maniacs, a film from 1986. Never heard of it. All right, good watch. Neon Maniacs is readily available on Tubi. It looks like, and Tubi,
Ugh.
Pluto, it's all over the place.
Legions of the Damned.
Okay, well, he got something. Oh, Matt over on Discord posted a picture of slime. I think I remember that, and it came in like a little trash can. It looked like a trash can.
Make your own Slimer.
I Why do I remember that? Maybe that picture just brought me back to my childhood. Well, I think she didn't run away because it's the middle of the night, and it's not safe to be running through the jungle in the middle of the night. That scene was really interesting. Was it the predator playing tricks on them, diverting their attention, and then as them being distracted? So I think the question is, did the predator actually cause that distraction, or did he just take advantage of the situation as it
I think
exists?
he took advantage of it just because we've seen no sign that the predator is an expert wild boar wrangler. We would have
That's
seen
true.
Chekhov's wild boar earlier in the film.
That's true. But I think it was in the later movies he doesn't only hunt humans, right? There are skulls and bones of other creatures that aren't human.
Yeah, but they are specifically, you're thinking in Predator 2, and
Right.
they are the skulls of xenomorphs,
Okay, so formidable foes.
which then leads us into the dreadful quagmire of Alien versus Predator from the maker of lots of Resident Evil movies, and the even worse and even more unwatchable Aliens versus Predator Requiem, where they apparently couldn't afford any lighting, so you can't see what's going on.
I I
This is
just
this,
kind of shake
this
my
is not a
head.
good franchise once you get past the first couple of films.
I almost included this movie last month when we were talking about franchises. But this to me makes a better standalone action movie than if we talk about it as part of a franchise. I think after the second one, it just went all downhill. Um, and I just shake my head. At a certain point, just let it lie. The last Predator movie came out when? A couple years ago? Or was it
Yeah,
last?
I think there might have been like an animated anthology stuck up recently on Disney Plus, and there's meant to be another film on the way.
I just don't know. how you can keep this franchise going. It's without getting dumb and making it almost unwatchable.
Well, one of the problems is part of the attractiveness of this first film is the ensemble cast you've got, in particular Arnie, and the characters and how you feel that although they might be big tough men, you can see that they genuinely care about one another, and you don't really get that in any of the others. You
Yeah,
just get alien fodder.
yeah, yeah. And I think you all in the chat kind of share that. Um, Calbot was saying AVP was not bad. AVPR was a shit show, basically. Um, Johnny Devick is saying Predators is a waste of space. Yeah, okay, so that animated series we had been talking about before, too. Someone had mentioned that. Johnny Devick is mentioning the animated is bad and what it does to the lore. Um,
Yeah. So at the moment, we've got an an animated adult film called Predator: Killer of Killers on Disney Plus, and we have the imminent Predator Badlands from the makers of Predator Prey. And yeah, don't care.
yep, me neither. Not interested. Um, I
But part of this returning to everything is that basically you don't get original films anymore, either in the cinema or on streaming services. All they want to do is make things with pre-existing IP because they think it's easier to market because people know what it is. I mean, you can see that this week. You've had the Naked Gun released in the cinemas, and if that does well, I bet my bottom dollar there'll be a Police Academy film along before you know it, because they'll say,
um,
"Oh, police comedies are doing well, and that's an IP people will recognise."
I heard the new Naked Gun was really good. So does that would that revitalize them as a franchise? I think the better question is should it? It's fine if the movie does well. I would love to see it. But does
Well,
that mean they need to be bringing them back again? No.
Well, I
No.
think if you were looking at starting off a new Naked Gun film series, I probably wouldn't have picked 73-year-old Liam Neeson as my leading man because he has a slightly finite number of years in which he's going to be a credible leading man in a action police comedy thing.
That's true. Um, Alex has a good point. Original films would have been a better chance to be seen if big tentpole movies didn't force a 3D conversion for no damn reason. Free up 4 screens at a multiplex, damn it. And basically give us original content. There's a whole audience out there. I'm not the only one that has been screaming for the entertainment industry to give us something new, something good, something original. Doesn't have to be top dollar. Um, I grew up on those no budget horror movies. There was no budget. It was a bunch of people just making movies to make movies, and we enjoyed it. But now it's just doesn't seem to be that way. This movie is a great example of it has all the elements going for it. It's got top notch cast, top notch writing, a badass villain, and it is one of the best action movies out there. It has everything going for it, and the franchise is ruined because they couldn't just let it be what it was.
Well,
Um,
I think this is so successful because it's one of these genre hybrids. So it's got horror, it's got science fiction, it's got muscly men with military hardware. So, if you liked Rambo First Blood, if you liked Aliens, if you liked a slasher movie, there's something in this movie you'll like.
Yep. And you know what? The only thing this movie doesn't have, otherwise it would appeal to all audiences, it doesn't have naked women. But that would have been
It doesn't
totally
need that because
totally
it has the
inappropriate.
tender love story of
As
Duck
well.
and Dylan.
But you know what? It has everything else that that these movies in the 80s had. These action thriller, it just doesn't have naked women. But
It
it's not
has
bad
it, it
because of
has
it.
it has big, muscly, sweaty, shirtless men.
I'm all for it. Woohoo. It's about time. And that's not the only reason why
I
I
mean,
like this movie and
I
saw
mean,
it so many times.
I admit, in terms of female characters, it doesn't do very well on the Bechdel test.
No. But you know what? It has everything else.
Although
Um,
I would argue that as final girl, Dutch is an honorary female character.
oh, I think there was a comment before about how their bromance ended in the hut. I think their bromance is about to be officially over. This is a pretty epic scene, I must say. Okay, there was a comment. Johnny Depp was saying last time I kind of found something that was interesting in the cinema that wasn't a sequel or known IP was The Island, even if the action was a bit so so.
You see, you wouldn't be talking about the Island film I recently watched, but that was about Michael Caine and pirates in the Bermuda
Um,
Triangle.
I think, Johnny Devick, are you referring to, I think, what is it, the Leonardo DiCaprio one? That one came out a while ago.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 1981 from the chap who wrote Jaws that has Michael Caine and pirates. And Michael
Oh,
Caine.
you're not talking about the no, not the Muppet movie. No, no,
No,
no. He wasn't in the
it's
Muppet
not.
movie.
Michael Caine is a journalist investigating missing people in the Bermuda Triangle, and he finds a colony of pirates.
Okay. The one that I just searched for was the one that came out in 2005. Is that the one that you're referring to? Yes, Johnny Devick, the one with Black Widow. Yeah, this one has Scarlett Johansson and is that Ewan McGregor? So this one might have gone
We're
under my
talking
radar.
about a 20-year-old Michael Bay film.
Okay. Yes, I think that was the one from 2005.
He's definitely
Um,
no, not that one.
okay. Okay. Thank you, Johnny Devick. Shutter Island was the one with DiCaprio. That might have been the one I was thinking of, where he played. Oh, I don't want to give it away because that had a twist ending to it.
A pretty awful twist ending,
Yeah.
and then he woke up.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Dylan didn't die in that scene. Oh, this is. Yeah. He's picking them off one by one. That was a great shot. That was a great kill. I loved that kill. And to actually kind of see the back of the head afterwards, that was some great practical effects. Yeah, so the island from 2005 totally escaped my knowledge. So I will have to go back and look at that one.
It's clearly Michael Bay went, I've tried to do something a bit highbrow and it's not worked out. So let's go back. So let's
Let's
go
do it
back to
again.
incoherence and massive explosions.
Boy, not every movie has to be highbrow, you know? On
Yeah,
occasion,
I'm looking at his filmography and I can see a grand total of one film I like.
really, which one is it?
The Rock.
Gotcha.
The others are, which it's also the only one of his that got a release from Criterion back in the day.
Yeah, he has quite a lot of movies.
Quite a lot of very bad, very noisy movies that make you
Yeah.
feel like you're having a breakdown at the cinema.
Oh, one by one, they're all getting picked off. This is another great kill, another great effect.
No, hell if I know, I don't like Bad
Yeah,
Boys, and I don't particularly like Armageddon. I preferred Deep Impact that year for my
yeah.
asteroid destroying the planet giggles.
You know
And,
what? Armageddon.
and obviously, Pearl Harbor was just goddamn offensive.
I saw Pearl Harbor once, I think just to be able to say I saw it and never again. But as far as Armageddon versus Deep Impact, Armageddon definitely had the best, I think, the best action, but Deep Impact, I think, had the most heartfelt end of the world message, I believe.
I think better story, better characters.
Better, yeah, better
Overall,
characters.
overall, a lot more credible than someone quipping as they take down an asteroid.
All right, so we have Billy ready to sacrifice himself and just face the enemy. And from what I heard, they ran out of money or they didn't have money in the budget to film his ending, his fight scene. They were going to have this big fight scene and they didn't have any money, so that's why we don't see his death. We just kind of hear it scream. I think that was a shame because I think we should see him and how he goes out a hero. Yes, exactly, sis sister. Deep Impact has a better story, but Armageddon is a roller coaster ride. Exactly. Okay. Every time I see this scene, I miss exactly the extent of his injury. It looked like he was actually hit and a through and through his shoulder.
It's just a flesh wound. It's all
But
right.
but yeah, it's a flesh wound because later on when we actually see the one, it looked like just a scratch. But did I miss where it looked like the laser shot hit his weapon and knocked? Could that be it? It ricocheted and just kind of nicked him a little bit. It was hard for me to tell exactly what happened. Yeah, it was just a flesh wound. Yeah, getting all the limbs chopped off. Oh, you know what? Johnny Devick mentioned Bad Boys. was good visually and not too bad. That was not a really bad Michael Bay movie. I think all the
I'm,
Bad Boys movies after that were
I,
kind of
I think
awful.
the sequence we're just having with the waterfall and everything, I was with him sliding down the cliff, so I was feeling for a second I was watching Romancing the Stone. And then I realised that Alan Silvestri did the score to that film as well. So obviously a bit of James Horner style recycling going on here.
Yes, Johnny Devick. Imagine the Predator thinking this is just one more kill, and then I take a week off. Exactly. As far as continuity goes in this movie, so we saw how far um, he kind of fell through the jungle and fell down the waterfall, and now he's swimming up on shore. The continuity that I have a question on is the later scene where you see him working with all his tools again, his weapons. Did he have to go back to camp? Did he, how did he all of a sudden get his weapons? And weapons specifically are the shells that he uses later on.
And this hiding his body heat with mud wouldn't actually work because the mud dries out quickly.
It makes for a good effect in the movie. I think for it to actually work in real life, though, you'd have to put on so much mud that it wouldn't be practical. Yeah, Alex, thank you. There's no continuity to where the hell he is at after the
I think
waterfall.
I think
Yes.
I think a better explanation than the mud would be that the predator's kit is all glitching after what's happened to it.
Miss Swift, interesting. My sister noted when we watched this on cable back in the day that Arnie had made it through until now unscratched, until Anna just had to pick up a weapon. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, typically in his action movies, Arnie does get through to the end unscratched,
Pretty much.
unless he's playing a Terminator.
Yeah, Johnny Devick. The plot gets a little muddy after this.
Because he walks through hails of bullets in the likes of Commando with nary a flesh wound.
Exactly. Exactly. Makes you wonder. Maybe he had it in his contract to be unscathed at the end of the movie. No one wants to see Arnie die at the end of the movie. You know
Unless he's a Terminator.
exactly the end of Terminator 2, but then he just comes back in the other Terminator movies. So does it matter? No.
Again, another franchise where less would definitely have been more.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we could go on and on about franchises.
If only they'd stopped with
Just,
Police Academy 6,
yeah.
we'd say.
Ah, yep. I just cry out for original content. And I'm not talking creators on, content creators on YouTube who just comment on stuff all day. Well, isn't that what we do here? We just comment on stuff, but we do so much more than that. Hell if I know. Yes, A24. I think even Bloomhouse, when they first started out, they had a lot of good content. Um, I can't even tell you the last time I actually saw something original and good. Oh, this is a great shot of Blaine, or should I say, his insides. Thank you, Alex. Creation versus commentary and critique, it's vastly different. I think what we do here is we have fun with these movies. We discuss, we talk about whatever's on our mind. Um, and who knows where the conversation leads. I think I learn something every time we do this. I hope you guys learn something every time we do this. Exactly, Johnny Devick. We make content that is positive. YouTubers just destroy, or they just recycle the same garbage over and over again. What I don't want to do is just release videos of me talking and critiquing something. I always prefer these one-on-one conversations with you guys. That's where the magic happens, is when our discussions. Yeah. Okay. So he's got some pretty big shells there. He's taken the gunpowder out. Where did he get those?
From his bat utility belt next to his bat alien repellent.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that. Okay, we've got a couple more skulls. I think one of those skulls.
Well, one of
Um,
them has a dirty great bullet hole through it, so you know
yeah.
that's Bill Duke.
Yep. So now we've got a few more kills. Yes, hell if I know Predator is ripped. Yes, he is. He is a monster. Yes, Johnny Devick, thank you. I hate YouTube content that is just retelling the story of a series or a film, like scene for scene, no value, no meaning.
Well,
And
you
there's
get
so many of
some
those.
you get some really bad sort of DVD commentaries that clearly are done by people who've never listened to one and don't know what they're meant to be doing, who basically just sit there giving you a blow by blow account of what they're watching on screen. You kind of go, well, it's like, thanks for that, but I can
Yeah.
actually see the screen.
Yeah, exactly. I can watch this with you. You know, the most valuable commentary that I find on DVDs and Blu-rays is the actual actors, the writers, the directors, producers
It's
that
it,
give
it's
that play-by-play.
it's better on older films where people feel free to tell it how it is about the film, the cast, the crew, than on anything new where it's just like EPK rubbish where everything's wonderful and perfect.
Yeah, exactly. These scenes at night with Arnie covered in mud. Um, he reportedly almost got hypothermia because it was below freezing when he was filming these. The mud wouldn't freeze. It was just cold all the time, and he was cold all the time filming this, which is interesting because watching this movie here, I don't get the sense that it's freezing. I'm still thinking it's in the middle of a jungle in a rainforest, which would be pretty hot, right? Pretty humid and hot. I don't know, having never been in a rainforest. Oh, Alex Peacock mentioned Snakes on a Plane commentary is excellent. So are the Ben Stiller commentaries. Nice.
I mean, obviously, with a lot of things I'm watching now, I'm finding that the commentary tracks are done nowadays by critics like Kim Newman and people, just because even with like 1970s films, all the participators are dead. So there's,
Yeah.
no way to get extra content without having a
Yeah.
third party expert to do it.
Well, I guess I'm left wondering why bother putting someone else's commentary on a movie? What we want to hear are the actual participants, how you made it, why you made the movie that the way that you did. Um, the creative people behind the project. That's where the magic is well, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, but it's a bit like if Creator VC wanted to make, say, In Search of Darkness 70s, they would be having to rely on secondary sources like critics for the
That's
simple reason that you can't go back and ask Toby Hooper what he was thinking when he was making Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's dead. You can't ask Wes
yeah,
Craven about The Hills of Eyes. He's dead.
yeah.
So you're left
Um,
with either clips you pick from other people's stuff or speaking to critics, experts, and genre
yeah.
talking heads.
Um, oh, interesting. This scene, this is where we see the predator just shooting blindly because he doesn't really have a target. He just has um, the general vicinity. See, he's shooting blind, just like the guys were shooting blind in the jungle before. Um, so yes, there's a fair point. When you get to the older movies, all of the participants are dead,
Yeah.
but there is still decades worth of interviews of their own commentary that you can go through to put together, a cohesive commentary on their
No,
work.
no, that I mean I've heard those things before where that they've tried splicing together just sort of interview footage over the films, and they really don't work as commentaries because they're not scene specific at all. They're just like random general things strung
Yeah,
together.
that's true.
Because basically, you want the commentary to be in some way related to or triggered by what's going on the screen. And obviously, usually the best ones are where you've got a combination of actors and people behind the camera, because that usually sparks well. If you've just got actors, they end up just talking about things like, oh, look at that costume I'm wearing. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a very good point.
And the other reason why they all love doing commentaries for a special feature is they're cheap to make. The documentary, that costs money. And people don't have that in the budget for physical releases anymore. We're past the high
Yeah,
watermark of DVD special features, whereas you can get a couple of people on Zoom recording a commentary for you for very little money.
yeah, and that's probably why Creator VC doesn't go back into the archives like into the 70s. There's plenty of material for them to do for the 70s for the horror or sci-fi franchise, but all of the commentary would be from what everyone else has already said. There might not necessarily be new content, new interviews to be had.
Yeah,
Or I
it,
mean,
it
would we learn
basically
anything new anyway after all this time? I
it,
I don't know.
I mean, you'd end up scraping around for maybe some surviving cast members who wouldn't, in most cases, be the main role. So it's like you might be able to get someone like Linda Blair to come and talk about The
Yeah.
Exorcist, but you'd probably end up having to pair her with, say, Mark Kermode, who's a film critic and Exorcist super fan.
Yeah. And would Linda Blair have anything original to say that she hasn't already said about it? Um, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you also get the thing when stuff is older that people's recollections aren't, they're not necessarily recollecting anymore that what actually happened. They've got used to telling certain stories at conventions and on panels, and they've
Yeah,
just fallen into the thing of actually what they've made into a good story is what they believe happened, even if it didn't.
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
why,
Lots,
which is
lots
why, with
of
something like Poltergeist, you get conflicting stories from members of the cast about who was directing them, whether it was Spielberg or Toby Hooper.
yeah. Good point. Yep, lots of good info out there. There's a lots of comments in the chat about that. Halifino is saying I missed the time movies would be released with Blu-ray and DVD at in the same box. Yep. Johnny Devick says Arrow have some good commentaries. It seems not heard them, but okay.
I'm saying the thing
There's
is,
some stuff out there.
a lot of the good Blu-ray special features on mainstream stuff now all dates back to when they were released on DVD. So it's like if you looked at when the James Bond films were being released, they're a great example. When they were on DVD, they'd make special retrospective documentaries, get members of the cast and crew back to speak about the production. Then you get up about as far as when they're doing the current films, like then the Brosnan ones and now the Craigs.
Mhm.
They really can't be bothered to spend the money because, the market's not as big anymore. So they're literally just dumping electronic press kit. This is all wonderful stuff on.
That's true. That's true. Um, yeah, there's a comment. Alex commented on Discord. The Star Wars archive commentaries, they aren't spectacular, but are nice to have. And the Lord of the Rings extended edition set a benchmark for how to do commentaries. So, they're still out there. Oh, so we're kind of approaching the end of the movie. We've got like 11 minutes left. The ultimate showdown. Um, where they're just all weapons aside, it's just mano e mano. And we're going to see under the mask. Without the mask, he's now seeing in the red hue, whereas before he saw in the blue, which was more of the heat signature.
And as Dutch says, he is one ugly motherfucker.
Mudda fudda. And now you can really see the difference in their sizes. Arnold is what, a little over 6 foot? Yeah, you think of what, 6'3"? 6 foot, 6'3"?
Yeah, about that.
And we have him at 7'3", 7'4". I just noticed it. So the predator is seeing nothing but heat. He can see it with his normal eyes. All he sees is the heat signatures. That mask, what alters it and just makes it visible on life forms.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
have to
not
say
a
the
filter,
normal predator vision doesn't appear to be a really great evolutionary development.
right?
That
Because all
basically
he's seeing is heat.
everything is red.
Yeah, everything is heat. So that mask would be a filter and it would just show heat from like a living organism. Yeah, Cowbot, yes, filters it like polarized sunglasses. Yeah. And it's funny, all of these times I had seen this movie, I just now kind of picked up the nuances of that. Well, you're right. It's not a fair fight because he's still got those extendable the claws, but he hasn't used them. Do it. That's another good line. Do it.
Walk into my trap.
Exactly.
No, I will go around.
Okay, Mr. Ferzel is saying Arnie overplayed his hand here. Interesting commentary I was listening to yesterday. Having the predator come into that trap with the spikes was not the plan. He knew that the spikes would be seen, so that's why he went around. That was the plan all along, was to get him to fall, to go under where that log was. But I mean, I could see it either way. How badass are you to lift that log off of you? I love that. I love that. Okay, good point. Mr. Ferzel says Arnie looked disappointed, so getting hit by the counterweight was clearly a backup plan. I could see both. He obviously had different plans.
Now we're going to learn how to survive a nuclear explosion by hiding behind a tree stump.
Exactly. Well, here,
Which
this.
ranks second to my favourite lesson from cinema and TV from the day
Okay.
after, which taught me how to survive a nuclear explosion by driving a Volvo. Because obviously Jason Robard's character survives a nuclear strike because he's driving a Volvo.
Yeah. Interesting about this last scene, I had always seen this scene as he set the timer for this explosion and he's laughing because he's going to take Arnie with him, right? Another theory I heard was he intentionally gave Arnie enough time to get out because there was nothing stopping the predator from setting that nuclear device off. He did not have to set a timer. Okay. So did he
I
look
predict.
at Arnie as a worthy adversary, worthy of
I
escape?
don't think he thought Arnie could outrun a nuclear explosion. It's a final moment of cruelty where you're giving him a few seconds to futilely try and escape the inescapable.
Well, that too, but there was
As I said,
obviously enough time
the,
for him to run behind a
the
tree.
hunter is an alien douchebag.
So this other theory that I'm hearing, it could be possible. It could be, but I had always taken it as he's giving his last, "F you, we're both going out" kind of thing. Yeah, and that laugh was, "Hey, motherfucker, I got you." Okay, so sis sister, we're going for a duck and cover approach to survive nuclear fire. Well, that seems to be the way that we can survive. I mean, the lesson of the day is just run really fast, stand
Oh,
behind a tree, and you're
stick,
good.
Sticky tape on the windows, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So, fun fact: the uh, pilot in this helicopter was actually the guy who played the Predator. They actually gave him like a 10-second on air
And I,
without.
and, I, and I believe the guy who played the general was someone who Arnie did bodybuilding with, who he basically gave a part, whether it was a speaking part or a walk on, in pretty much every one of his films. And I love this sort of Dirty Dozen rip-off ending,
Exactly.
showing us all the cast if they weren't dead.
If they weren't. And Arnie was the only one that didn't do a special um, uh, clip of that. They just had to use his footage from the movie. And I've not been able to find
You know,
out
he's got his arm back.
why he wasn't there to film his little outro.
Probably he was off getting married.
He could be. Or they ran out of money? Could be. I don't know. But anyway, that's something to mull over. Why didn't Arnie participate in that? Um, all right, guys, there you go. That hour and 45 minutes went by so quick. This was nonstop. Um, Loved it. One of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, so let's hear your guys' last comments. Mr. Furzel is saying it's not nuclear though, as far as I know. It could have been like an atomic blast, maybe not
There is
nuclear.
kind, there is kind
I
of,
don't,
a mushroom cloudy thing.
I don't know. Helifino is saying it's the most macho movie of all time. Yeah, I'll give you that. That was good. Um, Sith Sister, always a classic and is one of my favorites. Wife's cheese rating, crusty Velveeta that was sitting on a pan and molding. Okay, the first part got me. Like burnt cheese is amazing. Not when it gets moldy though. So interesting rating from her. Thank you for that. Um, there we go. Alex Peacock is saying always love this movie, but I kind of find Running Man easier for rewatches. Very interesting. Old Johnny Devick is saying great film. Um, oh yeah, Johnny Devick. What is in a Dutch angle? There were many Dutch angles in this movie.
And we don't
And
just mean the shots of Arnie.
yeah, and it's like the curving of the lens. They do that curving.
Camera at an angle.
Yep. So Miss Swift is saying nice fun ride. I totally agree. This is one of my favorites and couldn't resist but putting it on our list. Um, all right, where?
Did we ever do the last action hero?
No, that's on my list of movies to do.
Because I know
Another.
that was one that Andrew used to threaten us with, but I don't remember ever doing it.
We've had a lot of movies that they threatened to put on the list. Um,
Obviously, we should have Action Jackson for a bit more Carl Weathers action.
yep. I remember seeing that in the movie theater in '86, I believe, '87. I was in college at the time.
I love a
Um,
film directed by Craig R. Baxley. Can't beat a stuntman for doing a good action movie.
yep. Um, I also have My Stepmother as an Alien. That was another one that Andrew would kind of threaten us with. My Stepmother's an Alien.
That is more of a threat because that's not a very good film.
It's not, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun, and that would be a fun one for us to comment on, just how bad it was. Um,
It's a comedy where they appear to have left out the jokes.
it was low budget, all star cast though. All right, so we have for next week. I know I told you guys ahead of time. It is The Mummy. This is a reminder, The Mummy from 1999. Um, one of my all-time favorite action movies. The original, the one and only The Mummy. That's also part of a franchise. We're going to be talking about that, I'm sure. And as far as I'm concerned, I think the second movie I've seen, which is pretty darn good. But then I think it just goes off the rail after that. Um,
Gets into a lot of Dwayne Johnson movies after that.
yeah, no thanks. Give me the Brendan Fraser one. So also, just to let you know that on August 24th, when we're doing X-Men, James won't be here. Alex has stepped up, and so Alex is going to take over for that day. So I already have someone for that. Um, the other day that James is going to be away, like September 7th, you're thinking, I do not have anybody to take over, but I also don't know what movie we're doing. So that the whole month of September is open.
So
So
doubt
I
this. When I confirm the date, you'll then pick a film I like.
no, but what I was going to say was if anybody wants to jump up and let me know that that's a day that you would like to co-host.
It's the
So
ideal week for someone to do Extra 2.
if you want to do extra two, or whoever wants to volunteer, how about you get to pick the movie? Because I kind of had this where if you were co-hosting your first two times, you got to choose the movie. So if this is going to be your first time co-hosting, how about I let you pick a movie?
You can pick whatever
Um,
you like, so long as it's Police Academy 7 Mission to Moscow.
okay, okay. Or if I can get, if I'm going to do extra two, it's got to be for an extra special occasion. Maybe if Dom wants to come back and co-host, have him do it. I don't know. Otherwise, I don't think anybody'd show up for extra two. I don't know. I don't know if I'd show up. But anyway, is there anything else that we need to go over? I don't think so. That's pretty much all I have for housekeeping. Um, and okay, Alex is asking. Okay, happy to pitch in for September 7th. Um, and I have Mr. Furzel wanting to co-host as well. We'll figure it out. If someone wants to co-host and has never co-hosted before, uh, let me know. I would love for someone to kind of step forward. If you want to just put your toe in the water and see how it goes, that would be great. Um, and Alex is also asking what's the theme for September. I don't have a theme. I had my summer theme and I had my August action packed August theme. Then I don't have anything. So maybe I will just do random movies. Doesn't have to be a theme because I have December themed for Christmas. I think I might have November themed. I'm thinking, but I'm still open for September. Maybe October is Halloween. I'm thinking. So there we go. Um, we're all good. Oh, hell if I know. I'll talk to Dom's agent. Yep, get him on the phone. Um, Miss Swift, when you're saying I do, you want to co-host? Shout out to me. We'll be in contact, and we'll see if we can't pull this together. I'd love it if
She really wants to do Extra 2.
yeah, that would be great too. If you want to do extra too, we'll do it.
Can't
Calbot,
guarantee anyone will be watching, but you can do it.
heck yeah. Um, Calbot wants to do Day of the Dolphin. You're laughing. I've already looked at Day of the Dolphin, and just to clue you in, that is a very interesting licensing. And there's a reason why it's not on any of the streaming services. You're probably not going to find it on DVD. It's
It's on
licensed.
Blu-ray in the UK.
It is in the UK.
It probably might even be on. It's on the Indicator Powerhouse label.
Okay. Out here in the States, I have been researching the licensing for that. It appears to be only licensed for libraries out here in the States, as far as I can tell. So the license exists only for someone with a library card to get in there and watch it. And I have been trying to find a way that we can do a Day of the Dolphin watch party, but I'm kind of stuck there. I'm not done with that. I'm not saying never say never, but wouldn't that be fun if we could do Day of the Dolphin somehow? I'm just kind of running into a roadblock, but
George
stay
C. Scott, Dolphins, presidential assassination. What's not to like?
What's not to love? You've got talking dolphins, and it's like a sci-fi.
Not
Um,
talking dolphins. This is not Sequest DSV. This is a
no,
serious 70s
this
conspiracy
is
thriller.
this is serious. This is serious stuff. Um,
They train dolphins to attach mines to ships, damn it. This is serious.
it is, and it's serious sci-fi for what it was back in the day. So, anyway, it's one of those movies I'm working on, and I'm trying to make it work because it's got to be available all over the world and not just here in the States. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we
That's
are over
my
the 2 hour
that's
mark.
campaign for the Pope Must Die foiled, as that's
Oh,
not available anywhere.
okay. Let me write that down because I keep forgetting to check that one out. Pope must die. So, anyway, we are done. We are over the 2 hour streaming mark. So, I know you guys have all got to get to what you got to get back to. Um, So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. It has been an absolute blast. Thank you, James, for joining me.
Good
Um,
night.
we're going to
Farewell.
be doing it all next
Amen.
week and all of that. All right, guys, we're going to see you next time. Same bat channel. Ciao, all.